But he made some good points, like it was. He was trying to like make changes to the CUG in pretty good depth. He's like, this is more just some bullet points. So he's kind of questioning like what the process should be. So we might have to see. Because I'm not gonna. They're still recording. Yeah. We get the lockdown. Yeah, that's smart. I don't think we're far. I think we're close. Yeah. So I've got like everybody's done. I just gotta find. Yeah.
You all set, Mark? All right, let's call this meeting of the planning commission to order. Start off with roll call. Dan? Here. Rick is excused. Kelly? Here. Mark? Me? Bridget?
Here.
Jamie?
Yes.
Welcome back. Tom and Tom?
Here.
And Bill. Open the floor up for public comments. If anybody has any public comments, now's the time to let them fly. If there are no public comments, we move along. Item 3, consideration and approval of minutes from A, Thursday, September 22nd, 2025, and B, Thursday, October 23rd, 2025.
Make a motion to dispense with reading the minutes.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All abstain.
Motion carries. I see one correction to the September minutes. Yours truly copied and pasted an extra. On page 3 at the bottom, seconded by Commissioner Kennedy, all voted aye, motion carried. That was a oops.
Motion to approve them as amended for September.
I'll second that. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
All abstain.
Motion carries. On the October 23rd minutes, village staff present, Ben wasn't here, you were here.
I saw that. I noticed that to my hand. We gotta fix that one.
Along with these minutes from the meeting on the 23rd, you also have draft minutes from the joint public hearing that we'll approve with this. please consider those as well. I would suggest a correction on item 1 on the public hearing, adding you, independence.
Katie, now?
I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but page 4, A, says County of Racine. Should that be County of Waukesha, or?
Or, hey,
That was actually in the planner's report, so we probably a cut and paste for what it's worth.
right here.
I
That's happening
finally
once.
found something in the minutes. I never thought it would happen.
See, this was a test, it finally
To
happened.
see if anyone's paying attention. Is that weird?
Yeah, no, it's actually happened a couple times, but it's usually caught before it gets in the minutes. But I think this was just a cut and paste because there's so much to it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No, same.
Motion carries.
You need to make a motion for the joint public hearing too, or?
We've done both.
You done both together?
Yeah.
Okay, there, good.
Moving along, item 4A, review, discussion, and possible action of site plan of operations for We Know How Adventures LLC for general office usage, storage, and light manufacturing space out of an existing industrial building at West 224, South 8460 Industrial Drive, Unit 1. Sarah Farratt, applicant, tax key BBV 2068044, owner, Minor Investments LLC, Dan Minor, property is zoned as I-1 light industrial. Mark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So another unit in that same kind of complex we've talked about a couple times in the past, and we actually have more coming up in the coming meetings as well. It's kind of that flex industrial / office building. This user is looking at a kind of rooftop tent rental company, and they do something kind of vehicle outfitting, which matches well with the industrial side of the building. It's an appointment-based only business, so although they do talk about Monday through Saturday with occasional Sunday appointments, it's really all only pre-arranged one-on-one appointments. Shouldn't really generate a lot of traffic. The parking should be ample for what that site has been provided. It's about a 4,000 square foot leasable area. They said meets our parking calc. They talk about maybe up to 2 full-time employees with only, again, those appointment-based meetings, so not generating a lot of foot traffic or vehicle traffic. Kind of typical recommendations for you within the recommendation for approval, including the hours of operation, the number of employees, the appointment-based clients. Should be a good fit as that building really starts to fill up pretty quickly. Bridget, I don't think you had it.
No, I took a look at the parking, sent you a thumbs up. Moved on.
Yeah, this one looks pretty straightforward.
assuming it could be considered minor repair or minor outfitting of vehicles, no fluid,
No,
heavy, you know.
reading their documentation, it's mainly like installing equipment on the back of trucks, and trucks not.
Just in building inspector, make sure you reviews that, so that you're not doing any hazardous fuels for others.
It's pretty straightforward. Make a motion to approve based on the planner's recommendations.
A second.
Any further discussion?
Just one thing that they need to get taken care of, and I know Bill's been working on it too. The fire department's been there 5 times within the past couple of months in regards to their getting their. Fire department's been there 5 times due to false alarms. They need to get that rectified. So
Do we know what that what's tripping it?
supposedly something in one of the units is tripping it, so. Dan is aware of it, we've talked about it, but it's just something I think we should at least on our end here note it.
Yeah.
And not to stop it, but just to.
Yeah, keep pushing Dan, the building owner, to sort that out.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 4B, review, discussion, and recommendation of final reduction of credit for Ripplebrook East.
Okay. Yeah, so, nothing too exciting here. This is just the end of a subdivision's letter of credit. So it's been over a year, and all of the punch list items have been completed. So what we do is we release that last 10% back to the developer, which in this case, it looks like it's $26,305.79. Kind of straightforward, but did anyone have any questions?
Once this letter of credit's taken care of, then the village can accept the roadway.
Yes, so it looks like that we made a motion to approve the roadway over a year ago at Plan Commission. So we are able to put that on the next board meeting. I've already recommended, you guys already agreed with accepting the roads. So it looks like Ripplebrook West was accepted a while ago, and East still needs to be. Although, I kind of think that it's been on your,
Radar?
it's, no, not radar, I think that, I don't know how it was not officially accepted, but also counted in the mileage of the village.
Yeah.
But, something for Eric maybe to check into, since he does the ratings every other year.
Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve the final reduction of credit for Ripplebrook East.
Second?
Aye. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I'm gonna leave you folks to it.
Enjoy. Item 4C, presentation of rec athletic complex. Thank you.
Same file. I thoroughly enjoy your presentation.
Take care.
Full scale.
Like that, I'm gonna put this one away.
It doesn't have the red box this time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Make sure you get some. Thank you. It's much nicer without the red box. different. You're testing, aren't you?
Yeah, there's a quiz after this of all the numbers.
Well, some of you have seen this, some of you have not. There's been a few tweaks for those who have seen it before. So my name's Eric, I'm the owner of the project. This is our design and construction team.
Steve Sanfilippo, I'm business development for Cross Anderson.
Jordan Guth, I'll be the project manager on the construction team.
I'm Chelsea Davis, project manager at ISG on the design side.
So to give you all kind of a sense of where this is, I'll describe it as the Ball property, which most people seem to know what that is. It's essentially 164, Town Line, Big Bend Road, and Skyline. Right now it's just a soybean field. And so what we're proposing is we would like to do a youth sports complex. We're gonna have essentially 3 sports represented here. Baseball and softball, so to speak. We'll have soccer and we'll have lacrosse. Layout, you can see we've got kind of a 6-plex here towards the bottom. Those are going to be used for like tournaments, out-of-state tournaments, people coming in from out of state. There's going to be some travel ball. There's going to be opportunities for local clubs and local teams. School districts, if they want, to come in and rent space on there. We've got an operator called PBR. They're a national tournament operator. They operate complexes all over the country. So they're moving into the area and they're going to be leasing the space from us, and they'll be operating the tournaments in the fields. So they'll be maintaining them and bringing in the teams and all of that. These are going to be long-term leases that they're going to enter into, so 25 and 30-year deals. So they're going to be here quite a long time. They're going to be all turf fields. We'd like to do lighting on them because of how the tournaments go. You'll kind of see there's parking and roadways. There's going to be a little concession area in there, and kind of some pathways through there. The area where it kind of says 16, 6, and 15. That is going to be a club, just a local club. So right now Styx GRB, which they're essentially just up the road from here, if you're familiar with that, they're going to want to move in there, and it's going to be the same type of deal where it would be a long-term lease deal, so they'll be operating out of there. So they want to have a field for themselves for operating, doing their training and things like that. Same thing, turf field, and then they also are looking to do like an indoor turf building so they can run their training and so forth all year round. So similar to the one they have now, but probably a little bit bigger and maybe a few more amenities inside of it. And then you'll see there's parking and roadways associated with that. If we go north of there, so this would be the northeast quadrant, you'll see there's kind of fields outlined. That would be the lacrosse area. So there's a couple of lacrosse clubs that are kind of spooling up around here. They've been around a while. I don't know much about lacrosse. My kid plays baseball and I played soccer, but apparently it's the newest thing. So it's really popular, kind of on the East Coast and down south. But there are quite a number of kids that are playing it now. And so what they're looking for is space so they can run their programs and their tournaments and training and things like that. So again, we'd have 4 all turf fields there. Lighting, fencing, all of that, so they can operate out of there. 14 up towards the top is kind of like facilities maintenance. I've got a company, a landscape construction company, and we'll kind of have our shop set up there. So we have kind of like a big barn type of a building, and then some outdoor storage for, some of our, pallets of brick and things like that. But it's gonna primarily serve as the, facilities maintenance for the whole property. Number 12, where it says kind of 12 and 16, that's kind of depicted as fields, but that's what we're thinking of doing, a larger indoor turf facility building. And that will be used by both the lacrosse and the soccer area, which is on the northwest side there. So they would kind of have each their own space within the building. They could run their programs. So the soccer area, we've got an agreement right now with SC Wave. So they're pretty much the biggest soccer club in the area. They're affiliated with Milwaukee Wave. So they would be taking the 4, turf fields that you see in the upper left there on the northwest side, and then there's another field just next to that, and then some smaller fields. So that would kind of be their space there. Again, long-term, 25-year deal where they would be operating there all the time. They'd be running their programs, and then they would also be doing, tournaments. They'd be attracting, national tournaments to come in. In the center, you'll see, another field, and number 5, kind of a little building. That's something we're calling Championship Field. So it'll be a little bit more elevated field than, the sixplex that you see down there, which would be more like, high school size, turf fields. This would be maybe not quite on the level as like a Dockhounds or a Milkman Stadium, but a little bit more elevated, nicer seating, more amenities, more concessions, things like that. Number 5 is what we're planning is kind of a craft bar restaurant kind of a thing. Again, to service, when you're bringing in these national tournaments, there's lots of time between games, and so everyone's looking for something to do. So that would be something that we would have for them. But then we can also utilize that for, just general day to day, but also, that could serve as championship field for something like, corporate events or, college teams that maybe want to have a game there, things like that, high school games, that kind of thing. Everything along kind of the stretch of road there on the south side of the property along 164 are kind of, right now it's kind of planned to be sort of outlots where we could have sort of food options for the park, maybe a small hotel, restaurants, things like that, maybe a little bit of retail, things that would essentially service the complex, so that when you have these teams coming in from all over this country and out of state, sometimes out of the country as well, they've got options and they've got things to do while they're there. Because essentially the way these things go, if you're not familiar, these teams and these kids and parents, they're going to come in here, be here all weekend. So they're going to be staying locally, they're going to be playing all weekend, and they're going to be looking for things to do. So we're looking to provide that there. Everything else you can kind of see, we've got sort of the layout of the parking lots, access ways, things like that. We try to take into consideration the terrain, the tree, there's kind of a big wooded area in the center. We tried to kind of work around that so we wouldn't be disrupting that. There's a high tension line that runs through there. So we kind of, worked ourselves around that so we're not impeding on that. But yeah, like I said, this is, it's going to be the first really of its kind in the area. It's going to be the biggest in the area, probably almost the state, I would think. And we're going to be attracting not only the local clubs and teams, but we're going to be bringing in a lot of out-of-state clubs and teams that are going to be coming here all summer long, every weekend, for the next couple decades. The other boards that we have here are kind of speaking to the design and the style that we want this to look like. I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't want it to be The Rock. I'm not interested in having it. I don't want it to look like that. And we're not having tequila taco nights and rock bands. This is a youth sports complex. It's centered around bringing in kids and bringing in the teams and the youth sports into the area and giving them a place to play. Because right now there's a real big demand for that. But we also want to make it aesthetically pleasing so that when these teams are coming in from out of state, they're impressed, and then they want to come back again next year. That helps the clubs and the operators keep bringing in more teams and bringing in tournaments. So this is kind of the look and the style that we're going for. Obviously, we don't have it all designed up yet in that level of detail, but we wanted to at least show you what we're looking for. This is meant to be a higher end, premium looking facility. We're not just going to do an ocean of concrete, throw up a cheap little building for concessions, and have the whole thing kind of look real subpar. We really want to go for a nicer elevated feel for the space. So
Would it be worth talking about the phasing plan too, of how that goes, soccer first?
yeah, so obviously this is a very big project and there's a lot going on. And so the idea that we're starting with is that as far as construction goes, we're going to phase it out based on when the different clubs and tournament operators need to get in there, want to get in there, but also what we can expedite, quickly. So the plan is to start with the soccer area because it's just flat turf, pretty easy. They can bring in their goals and they can be operating, within a couple of months once we get it all in. So we'll kind of focus on that, that northwest corner there, get the road, the parking, and get those turf fields going so they can start playing. While that's happening, then we'll be working on the baseball component. So those 6 fields there, those will be next on the agenda, parking and infrastructure around it, with the concession building. That we'd like to open spring of 2027, because obviously we need time to build it. But then they start advertising their tournaments usually 6 months or more, the fall before, late summer before they start advertising for next year. So that's kind of our thought there. Lacrosse will kind of be in between, but probably right after that. And then, sometime in 27, the latter part of that would be the Sticks area there in the bottom, in the southeast corner there. So, so we'd be kind of staging it around the use case, when these teams and these clubs want to get in there, and when they're going to be ready for it. The outlots, we kind of need to figure out what we're going to do with that yet. We got to, see who wants to get in there. So that's kind of, a year or 2 down the road.
So as far as your first phase, the soccer fields,
Mm-hmm.
what was your target on the timing for that one? You were talking the other ones are pretty much staggered throughout 27, but you wanted 26 on the soccer fields?
Yeah, I mean, we would, if we can break ground, next spring, this coming spring, the timeline to build those is not nearly as much as the baseball fields. So, I'm anticipating that we could have those working for them, even if it's just the fields and the parking lot, so they can, if they, they can put some porta johns and a food truck or something.
Sure.
But at least they can start operating. They're pretty anxious to get in there, so we've had many conversations with SC Wave. They rent places, space from all over the place, and they really want to consolidate. And they're actually pretty anxious to announce to their club, like, hey, everybody, we're going to have a permanent home.
Are these gonna be lighted or?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All the fields will be lit? I'm asking because obviously you've got a little bit of residential on your east side of like
That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yep, absolutely. Certainly the soccer and the baseball. On the east side of that power line, I mean, the one field is Sticks, it's a club. Is it extremely important to them? I'm not sure. And the same thing with lacrosse. I mean, if we can do it, that would be great. So.
And that's the only, I love this, I mean, the only concern I have is, you've seen these complexes in other parts of the country, and it looks like there's a spaceship taking off.
Yeah,
It's all
it's a
like-
prison break or something.
That's what I feel is gonna be the community feedback on
Sure.
it is, that we're watching out for the residential district. I mean, there's not a ton of residential around here, so I don't think it's gonna be a major issue, but it is something I just figured I would ask the question.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Well, and one thing too, and this is when we'll get into sort of the details, but like, again, not to bring it up again, but like the Rock, if you go out there, those lights that they have are old and cheap, and that's what it is. You get a lot of light pollution, you get a lot of wash, whereas the ones that we would use are very, very direct. Yeah, like if you go, I think like at BC, Brookfield Central, I mean, those are pretty subdued. I mean, you barely see them from, the surrounding area, so it would be on the lines of that.
I think my concern would be, if you're putting up 100-foot poles and flooding them with, high pressure soil or that way, you're flooding the area with the light versus
Right.
something that's, we can control the neighbors' irate rantings because of the.
Well, and again, there's not gonna be beer leagues out here and stuff like that, right? So these are kids. I mean, tournaments are typically over by 10, 11 o'clock at the latest, so this is not something that's gonna be going on all night.
For those poles too, there's a variance out here of 45 feet. Does that apply to light poles as well? Or is it buildings only?
You're talking about the structure height?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
It is.
You trying to dig that up right away?
Working on it. Let's see if I can find it quickly.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I've got other questions.
Rattle him up while he's researching that one.
Well, so Kelly, last time we met, we talked a lot about, or a little bit about the PUD out here. Is there a PUD overlay on this particular site, or is there nothing there right
There's
now?
nothing there right
There's
now.
There's
nothing.
nothing. So we
Yeah.
would create and submit one
Right,
for our
but
own.
is there something, Kelly and I were talking about this earlier, is there something there already?
We're not seeing reference to it anymore. So I think there might have been something a long time ago, but and I was on even the Register of Deeds site and all that, trying to dig in and research it.
Yeah.
There's
I don't
nothing.
see anything
We've
that
done
still
those.
exists anyways.
Sure, yeah, we've done more this week in particular, and I don't know that's where I was going last time, and I don't think we can find evidence of an overlay, so it
You
would be
know,
a.
I mean, the property's been in the village now for 15 years.
Mhm.
There's nothing, unless there was something prior through Waukesha County, but there's nothing,
Okay.
at least on our end.
And again, the conversation went down the path of, because of a change of ownership over the land, that prior PUD, if there is one, would be null and void.
Okay,
So, long story short, I think we're in the clear because this is a transaction.
okay,
That even if there is one that happens to be there, it's either expired or it becomes null when the transaction of purchasing the land goes through.
okay,
So I think we're good on the PUD. We still have to cover the CUG, right, the conditional use grant, for the use of the land the way you guys wanna use it. But even then, that's covered. It's not a big deal. We just have to go through that change.
okay, is that, forgive me, is CUG the same as CUP?
Yes, sorry.
Right.
I'm using old
Good.
terminology, I think.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah, conditional use. How about we drop the third letter and just say conditional use?
Okay,
Whatever it may be, permit or grant.
But Kelly, if you think about it, would it be better for us to go, if we're interested in doing something like this, wouldn't it be better to do it as a planned unit development?
It could be. Could be
Since
instead
we're
of the C.
looking at doing this as something in phases and everything
Yeah.
else,
Yeah, could be a better fit.
might be, it might be.
And with it being presently split zone, residential east of the
Mhm.
lines and commercial west, you're somehow gonna have to marry up the fact that part of that's residential.
Mhm.
And the PUD might just be a cleaner
Yeah.
mechanism for doing it.
Right, I mean, granted, we can still go through a rezone over there, I mean, that's
Rezone it, put a plan development overlay, give some of that flexibility, that
correct.
negotiation, that zoning through negotiation where you figure out the best way to do it, mitigate lights, mitigate parking lights next to resident, you can kind of use that PUD to facilitate the best product possible.
Yeah, better than, I think better than a conditional use.
Could be.
Because conditional use will be a blanket on the whole thing.
Correct.
okay, would we, with a PUD though, would we be required to also, so it sounds like the conditional use wouldn't be needed, but would we need to rezone that, or does the PUD take that and create the site with the intentional use, and it rezones it in effect at
So-
the same time.
Putting a plan development overlay is a zoning anyways, so you have to rezone it, whether it's to put on the overlay district. In this case, I would probably recommend rezoning out of the residential and the PUD over at the same time, but at minimum, it is a zoning change to put the PUD overlay on it.
Okay, so those things can happen at the same time. Can they happen at the same time as a site plan review for phase 1 of soccer?
I mean, ultimately, the PD overlay is gonna include that site plan approval. You could structure the PD where you only do the specific site plan approval for phase 1, and then you would have to come back for future phases.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
If
that's
it's a-
okay.
If
I
it's
think
a
that's
timing
That expedites
situation.
your timeline for you
Yeah.
guys, right? So I think that would be okay, as long as you're willing to continue to come back to the phases, right? To get into the detail, because you're not gonna have all that detail up front. So-
Right,
Yeah, a lot of times for PUDs like this, we see it kind of broken into almost two pieces of the PD, the general concept layout, what you have here for the whole thing, and then your specific site layout, plan of operations for the piece you know you're ready to go with.
right, that's exactly what we're thinking right now, yeah, okay, okay. And then, in terms of level of detail for the PUD and the site plan, we have some general language for how PUDs need to be structured and requirements. Is there any need to, I mean, can we follow this? I know you don't have this, but, do we need to meet, do we need to do anything to lay out what those requirements would be for the Village of Big Bend so that we make sure when we're in a position to be approved for that PUD that we haven't left anything out and
So, section 16.455 of the village code does outline the village's PUD process. So I'll say that one more time. 16.45.5. So it would be a matter of kind of looking at maybe the template you have, if that meets the requirements within the village code for the PUD creation, and then just modifying it to make sure it all works out.
that's the document I have right here. Okay,
Yep, should start with item F, procedure.
how about item A?
Item F, sorry, is the process side of
Okay,
things.
yeah, let's start with
Yeah, A talks about like the authority, control, density requirements, and then item F is where it gets into the procedural portion of how you go about it.
A. Okay. Okay.
And the one thing I will point to with item F is starting with that, basically the meeting.
Yeah,
To go through, okay, how we're gonna structure this thing.
yeah, is the pre-petition conference tonight, or is that a specific meeting?
I would recommend that once you're done with this body, you still sit down with the planning staff to go through just a quick outline of timeline, what to include, to go through the nuts and bolts of it.
Okay,
A little bit more detail.
okay, so that's kind of exactly, yeah, what I was asking, make sure that we're all on the same page, so when we give it to you, it's
Yep.
ready for approval, okay. Now, we talked about this before, it might be on your website, or it might be our typical experience, but when we submit documents for plan commission approval, 30 days is what we're used to, but it sounds like you guys are a little more flexible, and 2 weeks would be sufficient, is that true?
This is something big, I'm just gonna be point blank, don't rush it.
Yeah.
I realize you guys wanna get everything in, but if we're gonna do something like this, we need to make sure that we have our i's dotted and our t's crossed. At least from a municipal standpoint. You being business owners and everything else, I think you guys can understand that.
Yeah, the only reason for the urgency is that we're under our due diligence period with the property. So we got 180 days, that puts us somewhere in March. So I want to, I don't want to have to go past that and try to, modify that. So we're just looking to get through the process, or at least enough of it that we know.
Do you feel you're gonna have problems with Dave?
No,
If you end up extending that, or do I need to make a phone call?
No, Dave's been great.
I figured you would.
But it's the contract is still the contract, and it's 245-day extensions, but then you're out your cash, so.
Given the complexity of doing a PD overlay, 2 weeks is probably not gonna be sufficient. Probably gonna need the 30 days to make sure it is adequate time to review it and go through it.
For the first part of it.
Yeah.
Once you get into like phasing and stuff, it's a little.
Yeah,
different,
once you're
but
coming
the
back.
PUD is pretty important.
That way, because I mean, it takes writing of an ordinance, and there's some time that goes into that needs to be accounted for.
That was 16.45.
1645.5.
Yeah, and again, for what it's worth, like the next planning commission meeting we have is 4 weeks out. So 30 days is right about there. So I think the key message is the sooner you could, the better. 2 weeks is probably a little too aggressive for the PUD side.
Especially with holidays
Yeah.
in between here and there.
Yeah, as far as staff reviewing time due to the holiday.
Yeah.
You guys intending on doing a traffic study?
Yeah, you already had conversation with DOT, right? Or opened that conversation?
Yeah, we have.
Mhm.
So there is a left turn lane right in the center of the west side
Yeah,
there.
there's a median break there.
Yeah, and so none of those roads are through roads, they're not meant for a local person to drive through to get to the subdivision back there, they're just for users of this site. So really, that would be a pretty simple driveway type permit through WISDOT. So, and it's a 2 to 4 week review time, so.
And you don't think the volume of traffic would justify any kind of like a controlled intersection there of any sort?
We
Like at the
haven't,
entrance?
we haven't looked to see if this is for sure, but because of that left turn lane, we're thinking that there might have already been a traffic study done. There's a reason for it being
For
there.
that break, yeah.
Yeah.
And again,
If
you-
not, that's something we perform in-house anyway.
Well, what about Skyline? Town Line just got redone. And we're gonna have to do any type of upgrades to Skyline. Because there is an entrance on Skyline.
Sure, but again, that's not gonna be the main entrance, that's just a,
Right.
yeah.
But is there gonna have to be some upgrades down in that area? That's something we'll have to talk about and consider.
Mhm.
Would a traffic study be required for this initial PUD or first phase site plan review?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, it's something that I think is important, just so that we understand the impact on the area based on the volume. And again, to get DOT to sign off saying, hey, there should be a controlled intersection or not
They
there.
may ask for the wide right turn lane. kind of
Yeah,
thing,
right.
Mhm.
Just because that was a concern with across the street there from on the dental.
Yeah, I think the key is that, again, that's a highway, the speeds are what they are, right?
There's
So
just
that's
volume
why,
times where turn lanes are
yeah,
maybe required by the DOT for the
Yeah.
high volume things.
Mhm.
but yeah, not for the PUD side of things, it's just more for the long term.
Okay.
There's been some talk about roundabouts too, after they had the fatality up there on Lonsdale. There's talks about a roundabout there in the future, and there's talks about a roundabout where the Fleet Farm is over there on Racine because of all the traffic, so.
Yeah. And that's interesting, cause that fleet, I mean, they got a controlled intersection right there.
It's just, that's why they're leaving it temporary, because
Yeah,
their
'cause they might
plan
do that.
is to put another
Jeez,
roundabout
really?
in there.
3 of them right on top
Yeah.
of each other like that?
Well,
Come on.
Haven't you driven through Wales?
it's the,
Just constant,
Get dizzy.
No, you're supposed to go around them.
yeah.
the only reason
Go in
why I bring
circles.
that, the only reason why I bring that up is because I believe the first time we met you guys, it said like there was a potential to have, was it like 800 people there sometimes on the weekends and that?
Yeah, I mean,
And so you're talking probably a good 250 to 300 cars-ish, maybe. And like, so like Kelly said, it's important, but I would definitely check with them based on traffic, because like the biggest thing that we're trying to do, working with the state, is to reduce the accidents and the
The risk,
fatalities, you know?
Yeah, just be more of a fan of control versus a roundabout in that one. In that situation, if the volume
Yeah.
dictates it, just because of the speeds, like,
Because it's 55 there.
yeah,
I don't know,
that
they're-
just seems
they're-
crazy for a roundabout.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, again, go through DOT, they're gonna be the best guidance on that.
Yep.
Your major traffic is not straight out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Plus,
It's not on town line,
Plus-
your major entrance is between.
It's gonna be 164, it's your
Yeah.
main
Plus-
in now, so.
I mean, plus 164 is still for oversized trucking, their major thoroughfare, and that down to the interstate zone.
Yeah.
Well, the majority of traffic for like the turn, this is gonna be coming from the south heading north, you know, they're kind of coming in from out of town, so.
Yeah, they're coming off of 43,
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
north, yeah, makes sense.
So do you guys,
The diversion diamond.
yeah,
Did they know about that or no? When is
The
that
diamond?
coming? That's
The
next
interchange?
year.
It starts
Next
next
year,
year.
they're, so, I mean, not that that would, I don't know if that would change anything, but the state is planning to do a diversion diamond there and kind of rip that whole
Yeah,
area up.
164, 43.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard rumblings about that, but I wasn't sure about the timing or anything.
the bid gets let next month.
Oh, okay.
So that could impact
Yeah.
travel and, you know what I mean, it's just something to consider.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a big project there.
They don't have an estimate on 2 year?
If you, I think the whole project is listed on the state's website.
Yeah,
You can see it.
they're doing one side of 164 1 year, one side of the interstate, 43 is gonna get done between 164 and 83 in Mugwanago, and so they're reconstructing the whole thing, shifting traffic over to one side.
Okay.
And they're gonna be repaving the rest of 43, right?
Yeah,
Well, like I said, I mean, this is a long-term
Yeah,
deal,
yeah.
you know, so, yeah, there'll be some traffic pain, you know, for the first year. I mean, if they start running tournaments spring of '27, you know, it's gonna be in the thick of it. But, you know, baseball wants 30 years, so they're gonna be there a while.
Just something to consider.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
so what is your final assessment looking at? I mean, how much value the entire project are you guys looking at?
Well, again, I mean, obviously.
That's these guys'
Good
question
ballpark.
here.
I mean,
It's-
just, yeah, first couple phases.
No, I'm saying the entire project once it's done.
I wanna
So
see when
that-
they come, cause then I can hold it to them.
We're not gonna hold you to it, you may, you may.
Oh, no, I will.
North of 100 million, let's just say that.
Are you serious?
I mean, in construction costs, looking at that site,
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot going on,
yeah.
150.
And that's not even really considering hotel and
Me too.
build out retail.
Right, yeah, I'm not talking, I mean, if we were to take out the hotel and the retail,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as this goes and grows, how much is the community looking at it, assess value coming into the community?
Yeah.
Is it AstroTurf?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's expensive, but.
Yeah, but everybody wants it.
Yeah.
You need it,
Maintenance.
and honestly, the maintenance on, you know, grass versus that, you're, in a few years, you're at a wash anyway. By the time you're fertilizing, now you gotta have irrigation, you're mowing it every week, and then you cut down on your time, you know, so if it rains, then all of a sudden they can't play, you know, they're all hacked off, so, yeah, it's pretty much they're demanding, you know, hey, we need turf. I mean, with the soccer, I mean, originally this was gonna be baseball, and we were actually looking at other properties in other areas, and all of a sudden, it just started taking off, and soccer wanted in, lacrosse wanted in, you know, with the soccer, they want to bring in more tournaments, but the problem is they have to have access to so many turf fields, because if it rains, they gotta be able to play, so there's just not enough to go around. And so they said, you know, I mean, I had one phone call with the president of SU. He's like, I'm in. He's like, what do you need? And I said, well, this is what I need. He's like, great. When can we start? So,
And that 12, that's that two fields are enclosed.
yes, yeah, that would be an indoor turf building. So, yeah,
Because that kind of makes a visual break too with the residential area.
yeah, it's kind of set in the middle. We kind of wanted to tuck it in there a little bit so it wasn't so obstructive, but we tried to put it between the two because it's going to be soccer and lacrosse that'll be using that primarily.
Right, that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, so that is good
Considering the
pricing,
lighting
based on the
and
residential,
residential
yeah,
feedback.
the fact that.
Rezoning, if you're putting a building that's gonna block noise and light,
Oh, I see. Got
is
it.
what I'm kind of looking at. If,
That
you
makes
know,
sense.
when we have a public hearing on rezoning that, it's gonna be those considerations.
Sure. Well, and there's no Big Bend residents there, right? I think those are in a different
Village of
township.
Vernon,
Yeah, those three are runs, yeah. But we still care about.
I mean, yeah, I'm not saying, we, you know, I'm not saying we can go to the curb, you know, we'll be good neighbors.
Just to ask one more time to make sure I'm clear for that rezoning, can that happen at the same time as submitting the PUD documents?
Yeah.
So, okay,
we just have to give the notice, right?
Yes.
You have to have a joint public hearing for the PD anyways, so it's gonna be a joint public hearing and just do the zone change and the PD creation at the same time.
would we be required to be there or make any sort of presentation, or?
You're gonna want to be.
Yeah, just in case there's questions.
Yeah, you'll definitely.
Hey,
want to be
you
there.
remember the last public hearing you guys were in attendance for?
I do. Yeah.
Let's
Well,
hope
we
it's
were
not as
small,
contested.
Bring
Let's
your
hope it's not as
friends.
crazy. The goal is not one like that. How about that?
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
No, so, yeah, I mean, the key is just gonna be getting information out to people ahead of time, so they're not walking in blind and, again, you're gonna have a couple people with some feedback, but I don't expect anything crazy. This is gonna be awesome for the area, for sure. Huge. I mean, you're talking about the valuation, I mean, we're looking at a village that's 2 times that value. So, come on, you know, so, I mean.
Well, I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, it's gonna put Big Bend on the national map. I mean, when these people come in from all over the country, like, where you're going, we're going to the BAC and Big Bend, no, okay.
We were talking, why did New Berlin say no?
Oh, that's right, yeah, we never asked that question, so let's get that.
That might be an off-the-record conversation.
We can do that.
It has nothing to do with liking or disliking or this being, you know, this being a problem for anyone or anything.
Political?
Isn't it all?
Again,
We can talk about
I'm
it.
happy to discuss off the record.
I have a few more just kind of little things. We are still, Geotech's gonna start here imminently, but they've gotta get on site, do their work, write their report. Depending on when the next when we're ready for submitting our documents and hopefully being approved, is that an absolute must to provide at that time? Do we have to have a final geotech report for the site? I think I saw that in some of the PUD. Like number 11 in that same section. Number 10, sorry, characteristics of soils related to contemplated specific uses.
It does not need to be finalized, but at least having something.
Okay.
To your question from 20 minutes ago, pole height. Mounting height unless otherwise specified or modified by plan commission is 28 feet. So unless otherwise modified by this group.
That would be, because field lighting, you can't do 28 foot.
You might hit your head.
But I did find it funny, so.
Okay.
My only concern with the lighting is some of the fields, being in the trade, is you put up the 120 footers and you just put a big catwalk up there with a giant rail lights, and that's not the.
What would your goal be for the height, do you know?
Like the Musco poles now are like 60 foot with LEDs, because the LEDs don't have the punch that the overlights have, so you have to do more poles, but they're like 60 feet if I recall the Musco poles. I don't know what brand you guys use, but I just familiar with those.
That is
This guy
correct.
right here knows more.
So I before I came here, I built the MSOE Maslowski Field. So not only did that, I was at Milwaukee School of Engineering MSOE, so we also had to work with the city of, the high school, Nicolay and Glendale, and that was much of a concern. And just the HD, the high definition lights that the neighbors that were right down you couldn't see it, so it wasn't an issue. And a lot of the sound stuff with trees that we put up and other things of that nature, it killed the sound as well. So
I think that's the only concern that I can see.
I think a big part
The
of
light
it.
pollution, and if, being youth fields, you're not gonna have, softball tournaments 1 to midnight.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's gonna be an issue there.
Well, and as he kind of mentioned too,
technology's advanced, right? So as long as you're not going on the cheap, which this project is not on the cheap, so why would you do it with the lights, right? So I think the reality is they're gonna be best of breed type of lighting and minimize any disruption to the neighbors, so.
You'll want a photometric plan, because there is code requirements for like 25-foot candle light at property line, so make sure you include that to help head off the questions.
That's pretty easy, a lot of vendors who do that.
And cut sheets, make sure they're, you know, shielded lights and that kind of stuff all helps when those questions come up.
And generally make sure you have hours of operation.
Yeah,
That's-
it'd be those, it would, I guess it would be, make sure you list out the planning commission additional approvals needed, like the height of the lights, stuff like
That can,
that. So
and all that stuff can be included in the PUD.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so we can go from 28 to 60 or whatever we need in theory and
Yeah.
okay. It could be, some of these things we're talking about now, I'm scribbling notes down, but can that be part of our beyond the planning commission meeting? To
Yep.
make sure
Yeah.
we're,
And we'll get minutes from this, so you'll get that. We can make sure you get the minutes so that you get our side of the notes as well.
okay,
And these meetings are on YouTube and recorded, so if there's you need to go back and see
Okay.
the specifics,
okay,
you can do that as well.
okay.
And then maybe setting up a meeting with the engineer and everyone else
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we can always do a staff level meeting outside of the planning
Yeah.
commission
Yeah.
official capacity.
Yeah,
We can do that, just kind of like we did last time, right? That
Exactly.
introductory one, we call that kind of like a staff consulting meeting.
Yep.
It's different than the planning one. We can do that essentially at any time.
could that happen like in the next week's Thanksgiving, or like early December?
We can check with Katie. We might be able to do that.
Okay. Do you wanna coordinate that, or do we wanna coordinate that? Do we need to be involved?
I'll reach out to Katie tomorrow and we'll circle back with you guys.
Okay,
You may want to give contemplation to including your new consultants,
Yeah.
because by the time this
Yeah.
comes through,
Yeah, based on the project, yeah.
you know, just I'm thinking timeline.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna be going through a change engineer.
Was it the team that was there last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you met
Yep.
them last time
Yep.
during that consultation. Yep. So we're thinking first week of December.
sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
yeah. Other questions I had were, it's required for the site review for a plat survey. Could we get away with an Alta survey? That's, okay.
Yeah, you should.
For this portion of it, that's fine.
Okay. And then, we talked about this a little bit last time, but that well septic, we haven't done a perk test yet, so we're gonna need to do that. Probably not gonna be done until the springtime. Can that be a conditional approval, if we locate where we think they're gonna be and then go out and do it and,
If that land doesn't perk, I would be shocked.
Yeah, right. Based on how it's been used for how long, yeah, it's got perk.
Well, it's
Yeah.
perk just
But yeah, I don't think that would be a big deal. Obviously with the winter coming and all that, yeah, timing is timing.
Yeah, I mean, the only downside is if you got some weird results
Yeah.
and you dramatically had to change your site plan because of drainage and
yeah.
stormwater management, but
So then we'd have to go back through the site plan review
you,
again.
you potentially have to amend the approval.
Okay,
But if you're
How
pretty
long-
confident on what you have,
yeah.
and it said it should,
Based on history.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't, but the only caveat is if for some reason,
Isn't,
and an opinion substantially moving things around,
what about the burial mounds that are there? Surprise.
you're gonna wanna do probably an archaeological survey then of it.
They thought you were kidding, Jamie.
I know.
I just think you're kidding because I've had to go through that on projects before.
Where are they?
There may be on the southeast corner.
Well, there's nothing there.
Shoot.
Just the way we planned. No, I did we did a project in Delavan on the lake where you did replace the roads with pergolas. I mean, they're there. They're not like they're visible. You can see them. So we had to go through that whole
There's some,
process.
I distinctly remember something there, but I can't remember. I know it's on the southeast corner, but I would definitely be double checking that area.
I'm gonna have to talk to UWM and
Yeah.
or whoever everyone goes to for them, so.
attraction feature.
It's one of the perks of living here for your entire life.
Make it a park area.
Oh yeah, depending on where exactly they fall. That southeast corner,
Well,
it's
it's-
a pretty small sliver, that would be just,
If it's there, we don't have anything there anyway.
If it's
so,
there.
yeah.
if it's there, I mean, that's a pretty, it shouldn't have an impact based on your layout. The only worry I would have is if it's not there and it's on that southern edge where you have your exit for Skyline, just to the east of that wooded area,
This area, right,
it's gonna be one of those two.
gonna be,
Yeah. From this view, I was thinking it's either this pocket
right here.
or in this corner.
Yeah, right. There's something there, and for the life of me, I've heard it multiple times throughout the years. Bill, you remember anything?
No. But I possibly might get that information for you, from somebody that I know.
I thought there was something right on the southeast corner right here. So it's not much, but double, you may
Good thing you're certainly right.
You're talking
It's like you have the layout for it.
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, Dave didn't give us any disclosures, so we don't know what's there.
Again, could be for no impact, but at least cross your
It's
T's.
double check.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, I'd rather,
Wrong.
but I just, throughout the years and everything else, because I remember there was gonna be a development up there years and years ago. And there was discussion about that, and that came up in the discussion. And I'm looking at that going, there's, double check. Double check. Just to be on the safe side, I'd rather make sure you guys are gotten your I's and T's and all the other fun stuff, but there may be something there.
Well, we can still move borings around and add a few if we need to, so.
Yeah.
Okay. My only other question is sort of like open to everybody here. I know there's a plan been discussed for years on and off of extending sewer and water from south of the freeway up here. Where do we stand with that?
Do you know a good banker?
No
Well-
significant change from the consultative meeting.
Well, let me put it this way, I mean, I'm sure you can kind of imagine that once this is up and running, there's nowhere near enough, amenities and hotels around here to support it. And so we already have, entities that are interested, that wanna be building around this, because they do it on other complexes around the country, so they're like, we want it. So there's gonna be a need, okay, so I know that's kind of step one,
Yep.
okay? We can certainly provide the need for it, but it's definitely gonna be needed, the sewer and water, in order to make that happen.
So the challenge we have as a small village is our pockets are only so deep, right? We can only take on so much debt.
Right.
How far south does it come down from Waukesha?
Not south
That's
enough.
And
Yeah.
we're basically approved from town line south into the village. So if we would end up running a line, it would be up to Skyline. From Skyline, then south down to Dreamcatcher to a lift station from there, then north, or south.
So,
We already have, as far as I'm aware, we have done the water testing for the water up around the interchange. So that's there.
It's south of 43 there in that
Correct.
orangish block on the wall. So we have, and I think we brought that up briefly in that meeting, right? So we have the locations for the municipal well already selected.
And the location for the sewer and what type of, we've got all the plans and everything
Yeah,
else.
it comes down to dollars.
I mean,
But again,
is that something the county would get involved in?
we've had so many talks about that.
We've
County,
had
state
lots of
level.
talks with a lot of different people and a lot of different things. And town, make sure you say something.
Hmm.
The county can be a pain in the ass at times.
Oh, come on.
It's always the county's going on.
I'm just saying, but,
Well,
what it comes down to is that for for what the, the development needs, and that is that we definitely need sewer and water up there.
Yeah.
The problem is that we've got the plans, we've got everything ready to go, it's just the financing portion of it.
Well,
And we've always said, is that we're not just gonna build it and then sit on it,
right.
you know?
Again, you have to have a use justifying it.
This is, yeah, and kind of, in my mind, I'm thinking, we can build all the fields and everything and get that up and running without it, okay? But then very soon afterwards, we're gonna need something to support it, you know? And so, that's why I was thinking the county route, because it's big benefit to them, out-of-state money coming up here every weekend, right? So there's a very compelling argument for the back end, there's gonna be a lot more.
We potentially need about $15 million to make it all work, to do what needs to be done, water and sewer.
Okay.
That's, if you can look at us and say, yeah, we could come up with and help support that and whatever else, and that would be one.
Somebody brought it tonight, we love that.
I thought I had it on me.
We can rerun our numbers and everything else. And, because we know as soon as we put that in, your area there would be more or less the catalyst. Because then it's on the southeast corner of I-43, in this area here, and then if we're running the pipe up to Skyline here,
Yeah.
this whole area will just explode.
Everything. We've had conversations with some very big players in the area
And
that
that's
are
the
very,
thing.
very interested.
Okay, and great, get those players here and let's sit and talk. Because if it's something that all of a sudden we can look at and say, yes, we're gonna be able to afford to do this, and be able to say that we're gonna have enough revenue coming in. That's why I asked that question in regards to how much value is this gonna be that we would be able to sustain something. When we originally were looking at getting Fleet Farm up at the interchange area, they were looking at about a $30 million development. A lot bigger than what they built in Muskego. That we felt was gonna be, part of the catalyst at that point for the interchange area there, but $100 million would really make a huge impact, and if you have other players that wanna come in, all that's gonna do is help feed into this for us to get everything up and running. Makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah. Obviously, you guys know, you can imagine that, if you've got 3 sports running, you're gonna be bringing probably 1,500 people in there, right? Or teams or whatever, or not teams, but people. Baseball alone will be 170, almost 200 teams on a weekend, teams. And then you have the other sports in there. So, there's gonna be, and a big part of them are coming from out of state, so they need hotels. Even if they go down to Blue Mountain, they'll book those things up. And then the way they run these tournaments is, like, the teams have to stay there. So they set it up to where if you come play this tournament, you stay in this hotel. So they're booked solid.
So like I said, if you can come up with a rich uncle that says, hey, we'll support this,
We'll help you build the infrastructure.
we'll help you build the infrastructure, and we could even look at it as part of the agreement, fine, we'll pay you back as this goes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get into, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, again, we're not saying, hey, you have to outlay it all and you don't get it back. You'll get it back in different ways, but the village, so around the interchange, we still have the TIF.
Oh, right.
So the TIF, you guys are aware of what a TIF is, right?
Yeah.
So this could be something like that for this development, so that we say, hey, you guys front the cash, because we can't, we're too small to do that. We can't even go to the bank and get approval.
Right.
But you front it, and then we kick it back to you through phases, through the tax revenue coming back.
Right, we're sitting right now, the village is sitting, roughly, we could take out on our own right around $12 million right now.
Okay.
Not say we want to take out.
We really don't want to, but we could structure this, financially, that we could look at it as a joint venture project with everybody and say, look, we'll get it built, we just need that rich uncle to come in and help us out, and that to make, we're not gonna, to make it happen.
The key is we'll put skin in the game too, is the point,
correct.
right? Because the greater area benefits from this, right? It's not just for you guys in that development. If we provide that service, now people along 164, for example, older homes, failing septics, wells that are questionable, been around a long time, might go dry. They don't have the luxury of all this extra land to put in a new septic system, for example. Things like that, where it becomes a service for the greater area, not just for the large developments around the interchange or the wall property.
We already have 3/4 of a mile, I mean, our intent, we already have 3/4 of a mile of pipe already in the ground through the main part of the village.
Yeah. we talked
It's
about
just
that.
getting it up the hill and then build a plant right down here.
Yeah.
Got it.
Would you guys handle all the design and construction and all the permitting and all the details of it?
Yeah, we've already
Yeah.
had
Like I
conversations.
said, we
on
just need that financial assistance to make it happen.
Yeah, it would become a
Because we can't,
project for us.
that $12 million that we take out, we cannot do that to the community, because then we're tying everything up into sewer and water, and then we have to take a loan out for something else, we're unable to do that.
Right,
We're
it
tapped,
taps our ability to do
Yeah,
any
you're
projects
capped,
for the
you're
village. so
we're
then we have
capped
to
at, right, we're capped
Jump
at
the
5.
taxes on our residents and for what? They're gonna be like, we're.
We're taxed at 5%, we're capped at 5%.
Yep.
And it just to do that, but if we were to look at doing some type of joint thing where, hey, we've got more people coming in, we've got more a more higher revenue stream coming in that we can to put towards this. One, it'll make an impact on the residents to help out. It'll make an impact on the area for growth and to increase that revenue stream to help pay this off.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially, they redo the interchange, yeah, I mean, I agree, the whole corridor is
Isn't there
gonna
a
explode.
moratorium also against the building interchange?
Timing could be very important.
Correct.
If they're gonna be opening up things for this diamond,
Because I believe
if we're gonna be trying to drop
the DOT
anything in the
puts a
ditch lines,
Exactly.
and the
10 years
services.
somewhere.
Yeah.
That's kind of the other thing I was thinking
Well,
too, yeah.
the nice part about that, because we've talked to DOT about that, is that it would run, part of the line would run up and cross the interstate at Vernon Lane by Kelly's Bleachers. Cut through there and then come back south underneath the interstate. Because we then be able to collect all the hook up Kelly's and all the places right around that area there, and KT and everything else. KT has always said they would end up putting a car wash in around there if they had sewer and water. Culver's has been looking to build on that corner of Dreamcatcher and 164.
Well, as luck would have it, I spoke with the head of their real estate at KT, so they have an interest. And
One right down the road. That's KT.
I've seen that corners next to each other, so.
I know some stuff.
They build them right
Yeah,
next
I
to
know.
it.
Yeah.
It fits their
They need people
models
so
a
they don't have
lot.
to cross traffic to get to them nowadays.
Yeah, because they're gonna need a bigger station, it's, to support all of this out of town
And
traffic.
that's one of the big busiest ones around.
Yeah, it,
Already.
yeah, it would get twice the size of that. And, one of the tenants there has some influence at Culver's as well. So there's, like I said, there's been some conversations with some big entities that want to get involved. So, healthcare, hotels, retail, restaurants, all that stuff.
Yeah.
At
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, you pass the hat.
Be huge.
We'll invite them all over,
I'm excited. Let's build it. Let's figure it out. Just be cool.
It's the catalyst that we need.
Yeah. Like you said, if we do that, that other area is just gonna light up quick.
A lot of stuff.
And we had brought that up, I think, on the last meeting, right? You look at the development around, you got Moreland, and you have McQuango, and we have this undeveloped interchange
Yeah,
here.
it's like a big void.
As soon as something starts, it's gonna just go,
If you
because
think
it's
of Oak Creek, where
hundreds.
Russell Town Square went in.
Yeah, look how crazy that is now.
And we're not looking to sewer the entire village. What needs to be sewered is already laid out.
Yeah.
We're not running water down the big hill, down into the village, because the same water that comes out of the spring over here on Highway L, where everyone gets their water every day, comes out of my faucet. Same water, no difference.
Right.
So we're not looking to do water because water's not an issue down here. But for the businesses and the development up there, yeah, water's definitely gonna be one of those things that they need.
Yeah, especially sprinklers.
Correct.
You got a big, larger facility, you need to sprinkle it.
You bet.
The cistern you need under your parking lot to support that water.
No, I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah.
Taking it all in.
And there's other developers, or other property owners and developers that are interested in the water tower for sure.
Yeah, and the water tower's that's the cheap date.
It is.
It
The
really
sewer
is.
is a big one.
And sewer is the bigger one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've already got a lot of the sewer prep, I'm sorry, water prep is pretty much done and sewer prep is ready to go. It's just a matter, like I
Just
said.
have to refine some numbers based on timing.
Yeah, and I can talk to Jim Smith about that.
Well, knowing kind of the lay of the land, as it were, with that, and kind of where you are in that process, and kind of a rough idea number, I mean, you know, we can start talking with these other partners and say, you know, hey, yes, this is a possibility that we can get it there, you know.
You bet.
We'll work it out, we'll figure out how to do it, but now they're gonna become very anxious to get in there. And, you know, whereas we thought, well, maybe in a few years they can, I mean, they're gonna wanna be there right away, of
Right,
course.
the timing
because-
is perfect. I mean, the economy's starting to kick a little bit better than, and everything else. We're starting to slowly come out of what we've been dealing with. And I just see things really starting to grow in the area, and starting to see a lot more, we'll start to see a lot more growth.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, like I said, it started with baseball because they, you know, their problem was they would have 170 teams with a 60-team waiting list, and that's with renting every field they could find. So they're like, we're out of space, we need space. And then it grew into everything else, and lacrosse was kind of the last one in. They're, you know, I didn't know anything about it, you know, but they said, hey, you know, I got this club and we need space too. It's like, all right. And the nice thing is that, you know, the other properties we looked at were like half the size of this, but that made it challenging because then you can really only have one sport going. With this, we can have all three going at the same time. So we're not multi-sporting the fields. So now you can have 3 tournaments running, you know, where you know, triple the number of kids. You know, the indoor facilities are gonna be nice too, because again, these clubs, you know, that's more local, but these clubs, I mean, they're gonna be running in there all the time. There's just no space, no one can find space, you know. OAW is just, I mean, they're just packed, you know, they try to get in there and they
That's been
can't get in there.
amazing. What a build that's been.
Yeah,
It's wild.
this building will dwarf it, so.
Any more questions?
I'm out of questions, except that if we have more questions, can we go through Katie and?
Yeah, send them through Katie. I mean, sometimes, we can get, again, like a staff answer, depending on the depth of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it needs a more formal discussion, it either has to be a staff meeting, like we talked about doing for December,
Yeah.
or a formal commission meeting, depending on what it is.
Do you ever do a virtual option, just wondering?
It's about as much technology as we've seen. Not to say it couldn't be handled. We have had, for example, like planners on a phone, right? So, I mean, we can flex some.
Okay, just wondering. Okay, now I'm out of questions.
Cool.
Anything else for us?
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
I do have a septic company if you do need that does work through the winter. That's it, mention that, that's
Okay.
The business card?
big. I did not, but just look up their email address and have a phone number if you need.
Okay.
And if they can't do it, I've got somebody that'll do it too. Oh, yeah.
You got a guy.
I got a guy who knows a guy. He happens to be my nephew, so I know I've got a guy.
You can send it to me and I'll forward it to the right people.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep everyone in your report.
Nothing, just that.
Water equipment.
You guys would like extras of these?
Yes, please.
Katie, anything you want?
Bill?
Okay, inspector's report, got maybe about 15% left to do on inspection, and we'll be done for the year. And, we accomplished something, and that's on the east end of Market Street. There was a lot of construction equipment on the road, and a lot of weeds and so forth, and everything else in there, and I got together with Eric and the Katie, police chief, and got that all cleaned up. That's all I know.
Thank you, thank you. Building inspector report, nothing from Jason, right?
Not that I saw.
Okay, engineer said, Bridges said nothing, no correspondence.
Next meeting is 18th, December 18th?
Yep.
Kelly, you want to be the new mic?
I will. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Kelly, you're great.
And if you don't mind, please.
Don't you with anything that needs to be.
Yeah, reach out. You got
Okay.
that? That's one of the shortest guy in the room.
Come on, you got me by a teaser.